Hey everyone, and welcome to the Beyond Life and Fitness podcast. I'm Cheryl Patton.
And I'm Meaghan Prince.
We started this podcast as a way to connect with more people who are struggling to fit it all in. The workouts, the food, kids, work, and relationships.
We know that we're not perfect, but we hope that through our struggles and our mistakes and our failures and our successes that we can help more people through their challenges and be successful. So if you want some tips and tricks to help you along your journey to be the best version of yourself, then this is it.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to our podcast. Today we are talking about when those around you don't support your goals, which is a really big one. And this topic was your suggestion, which is awesome. So I'm going to let you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so I think that I feel like at the beginning of my health and wellness journey, I think I've always did gymnastics. I was always healthy. I was always whatever. But as soon as I started to really in depth get down into I'm not eating certain things at restaurants, or I'm not eating family meals at certain times because I care about I have goals. I have things that I want to do. And people are mostly easy to give in, right? So I think that people around me necessarily would think oh, if we put this in front of her, she's going to eat it. Or if we put things around her or in front of her, or if it's a family gathering or whatever, that she's going to go away from her goals, right? And I was very adamant that no, this is my time, this is for me, this is something doing for myself, and it's not affecting anybody else. So that's what I think I struggled with that for a really long time, is that the people that you surround yourself with not supporting your goals, I feel is a really, really, really hard thing to accept, because it makes you question if you should be doing those things, if those things are right, if you're a bad person, if you should feel guilty, if you're neglecting your people around you, right? But most of the time I feel what has come out of it is that most of those people necessarily not are trying to sabotage you, but it's they're trying to, because they want to do what you're doing. They're oh my God, she's so strict, she's doing so good, she's consistent, she's getting up every single day, she's doing her workouts, and they're I wish, and deep in their heads, I wish that I could do that. So it's this whole mindset thing that you have to kind of set yourself back and be is this person saying this to me because I actually shouldn't be doing this, or are they saying this to me where it comes from I wish I could do that? And what if, and I think in marriages and relationships as well, what's going to happen to this friendship, relationship, whatever, when that person succeeds? And I've talked to so many women going through divorces, going through separations, going through things like that. And the biggest thing is, as soon as I started working on myself, he didn't like that. So it's they're okay when you're in that I'm self-conscious, I have all this weight, all that kind of stuff. But then when it comes down to it, is when you're going to better yourself, people, relationships, friends, best friends, family get threatened. Is she going to leave? Is she not going to be there for me as much anymore? Is she not going to have as much time for me?
Is she the same person?
Right.
And I think too, when kind of, with the whole feeling supported or not, it's when you've got two smokers or two alcoholics living in a house, one decides to quit and the other one does not.
Right.
That can't be easy, knowing that you have quit something, but it is around you all the time with the other person that's in your life.
And I think, when it comes down to addictions and stuff cocaine users, there's no way that you could still stay in a relationship with somebody if you're trying to lay off cocaine. So when it comes down to, I'm trying to get healthier, I'm trying to go to the gym, I'm trying to eat better, it would take, it's going to take so much willpower in those moments, because nobody in that house Nobody in your house is going to just take away chips and peanut butter and donuts and all this stuff. You can't tell everybody in your family, we're not going to have anything in our house anymore. So it's like you have to really dig deep into your why. And why do I want to achieve these goals? Why do I want to do these things? Because if not, it's like it's surrounded by you in the world all the time. So you really have to get purposeful on what is my why do I want to do this, and what are the steps that I need to do to get there. And then those have to be non-negotiable, because if not, it's so easy to like give in. It's so easy to just say, oh, okay, I'll just go back to this, because it's so nice at night when we have popcorn and pizza together every Friday, and I loved watching movies with you. And or what if we had to change that, right? Like, you watch the movies, you have the pizza and popcorn, I'm gonna go out for a walk or go for the gym while you do that, and then I'll be home. So I think when it comes down to people supporting us, it's a really, really hard obstacle for people to overcome.
If you've got the people that, as you said, like, they're happy for you, but then deep down, do they feel threatened by your ability to change?
Yeah.
And then that's where I don't want to say tensions come up, but that's when you can sort of see does this person support me in these new goals and challenges that I'm putting me through, or are they wanting me to keep failing so that I go back to those old habits that I've had, and it can be just like good old times?
Yeah, because it just makes them feel comfortable, right?
Exactly.
It makes them feel like, and I think I did a post about this a while ago on change, and how people used to say to me, oh, you've changed. And I used to it used to make me feel sick, and it used to make me feel like, oh my gosh, like, I've changed. This must be horrible. Like, this is horrible if I've changed. That's terrible. But then I'm like, no, because the whole point of life is to grow and to learn and to do and to be a better version of yourself. So I was like, no, if I've changed, I should embrace that and think, oh my gosh, that's amazing that I've changed, because then I'm living a life that is moving forward.
Correct. Yeah.
Or else you're living this life that's stuck. So when people are like, oh, you've changed, and they make it sound like a bad thing, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, now I embrace it and change my mindset and say, yeah, I've changed, but doesn't mean I always used to take it as the people pleaser and the empath, that if you've changed, that's a horrible thing, because now I'm not what everybody else thought I was. But then I was like, but I didn't want to be the person I was before, so I chose to change. I chose to take this journey. And so then you have to like really sit in your self-worth and self-love and say, it's okay to change, because I feel like that's the whole purpose of life. But there is people that it's hard for them to change. It's hard for them to stay. It's hard for them to keep moving forward. So when those people in their life say those comments, say those little things to them, they easily get pulled back into their old habits, because it's a hard struggle to be that woman that's like, no, I am just doing this, and either you're coming along or you're not. And when we're talking about I'm not talking about things like you're going to like do things that are going to hurt somebody or whatever. You're talking about going to the gym, eating healthier, having more energy,
bettering yourself,
feeling better. And right, so those people in your life hopefully eventually will jump on board with you and be like, oh yeah, I like this new person, she's fun, she's awesome, she's great, right?
Embrace that new person. And then being willing, if you are around people who are not willing to support you, or at least initially support you, knowing that you're going to have to rely on a lot of willpower at the beginning until you can get those new habits established, right? We all have an infinite number, or limited, it's not infinite, we have a limited amount of willpower each and every day, right? And so using that willpower to get those habits going, get them established, so that when you're having those days where the willpower is just not there, you're just tired from work, kids, life, whatever, you have that habit in place to keep you moving forward. Yeah.
And you saw as we came. So Cheryl shows up at my house today as we're dragging things in from the library. I have 3 kids I'm homeschooling. We go into the barking dog. The dog put garbage all over my floor. I literally just had my house cleaned yesterday, and now there's garbage all over my floor. Kids yelling at me all the time. But I have habits in place regards to how I eat, things prepped in my fridge, getting up at 5:30 like I told you, because I was like, those things for me, I am not giving up those things just because something little, like, it is so easy in our day, and I'm so what's the word,
Structured.
guilty of doing it too, that when kids' life, things get so crazy that we're like, those are the first things that go. Our self-care, our exercise, and what we eat. 100% for women.
Yep.
Like, those are, because we would women will not show up for work. 100%. We will not show up for things that our kids need, ever. And we will not show up for supporting our husbands in things that they need, ever. But the first things that go when we're stressed out is all of those things for ourselves. And so, yeah, when you have those habits in place, then it's so much easier to like work through those, like, I just need to breathe, I'm just leaving the garbage on the floor right now, and I'm just gonna like breathe, because then I'm like, no, you have those habits, you have those things, that you have that structure in your life, that if the one thing I can control is getting to the gym and what I put into my mouth, those are actually the two things that are going to control my mental health, my energy, my happiness, my joy, right? So
yeah.
Why is it the first two things, like exercise and diet, that we give up when things get stressful, when that is what we need to focus on the most, so that we can actually...
Because that's the easiest thing to give up.
Yes.
That's the easiest thing to give up,
because it feels
right?
selfish.
Exactly, right? It's, you feel bad if you tell your kids or significant other, do you know what? That's just going to have to wait an hour or half an hour.
I'm going to work out.
Because I'm going to go down in the basement, or I'm going to go out to the garage, or I'm going to go to the gym, and I'll be right back, and then we can deal with this.
Yeah.
Right? You feel bad for doing that. That's, I think, why it's so easy. And when it comes to the food, it's just very, you know what? I'm tired. You know, I just don't want to deal with this right now. I'm just going to order, because it's the easier thing to do. That's why. I think that's why. It's just the easy thing to do.
Right. And I think it's in the hard things that there's always that song I listen to, even whenever it rains is when we grow. So, like, the only time that we can grow is in those hard times. The hard times is when we grow.
Yeah.
So you have to do it. Somebody said to me, I'm going on vacation on Monday to my mom's house for a week, and I'm starting like a sort of like a cut for the summer. I'm doing like a 4-week, sort of like cut. I want to just feel better, more energetic, and just feel more confident in a bathing suit in the summer. Sometimes whatever. And sometimes I like to do those like lean out, build muscle, maintain, whatever. So I've been maintaining for a while, and I'm happy there. But I was like, no, I'm going to start it on Monday. And he was like, oh, well, maybe you should start it when you get back from your vacation. And I said, well, here's the thing. When I'm on vacation, I have more time to prep. I have more time to be diligent with my meals. It's going to be so much easier when I'm on vacation. And I'm like, and vacation to me isn't let's go and just binge eat the whole time.
A free-for-all.
A vacation for me is going to be like, I'm going to rest, I'm going to relax, I'm going to rest my mind. But that doesn't mean that I have to. I was like, that is the perfect time. And if you start dieting at Christmas time, it's going to be so easy by the time you get to February, because you're like, I did it during the hardest time I possibly could. Yeah. So start the day before Christmas or something, right? Because then it's going to be easy the rest of the year around. So, I think when we're talking about this, people not supporting us, what we have to go do is then supplement the support in our life. Groups, friends, classes, like find those people that are doing what you want to do, and like just embrace every part of them into your life. Because then when we're the 5 people that we hang around with the most, we talked about this before, is what's going to influence the most. Yes, we can't get rid of our kids and our husband, but we can change the energy that we're taking in every single day by saying like, no, I'm really struggling today, or I really don't want to go to the gym, and then having that friend being like, no, get your butt to the gym. Like, you need those people in your life, because there is going to be people that can't support you because they also don't know how.
Yes.
Or people that don't want you to do it. So really, like, find that group, find those people, find those friends, like.
And I think that's why, too, it's so important for people to start getting back to being in person for things, whether it's being in person at an office, whether it's being in person back at a gym and getting yourself around people in a class, or in whether you work out on your own and just being surrounded by people who are also just giving it their all, getting their workout in and making sure that it's done. I think the last 2 years with people at home, and again, like, there have been some great, like, there's great apps, there's great things for people to be doing, like YouTube, like, you can find resources everywhere, but if there's nobody there waiting for you, or if there's nobody there saying, oh, like, we missed you in class today, whether it's a group, whether it's a trainer, whether it's like a buddy that you just work out with, I think it's so important to, like,
because there's those people that they're self-motivated.
100%. And well, and I think you and I are prime examples of that.
Yeah.
Like, we just get it done. Like, it's not...
Like,
it's
I
not
have
an
a
issue.
hard time working out with people because sometimes it's like, I mean, I guess you and me could because you're on the same page, but it's hard because it's like I have it's first of all, it's my time for myself, right? A little bit when you're a mom, that's the only time that you get for yourself to just think and breathe. And second of all, I think that it's the intensity, the person, like, it's just people, it's hard for us to work out, but for the other people, like, I was talking to somebody today, and she said that her boyfriend told her, like, instead of getting a gym pass, to just work out at home, because that's what he does, and he's consistent, and he does it. But she's like, but I just can't. And I'm like, then don't. Because, like, if you 100% know, like, I used to tell clients, when you're meal prepping, and you get all your veggies home, and at the end of the week, all your veggies have gone bad because you didn't take time to prep them and cut them up, then buy the veggies that are already cut. And, like, do it, because if there's things that you know you're not going to do consistently, then you're just giving yourself that excuse to not do it. It's like, I'll just buy all the veggies, but I know I'm not going to cut them up at the end of the week, and I know they're going to go bad, or I'm going to try working out at home instead of getting a gym pass, but I know I'm not going to work out at home because I never have. So it's like do the things, like, somebody can give you that opinion, like, just work out at home because I do, but she's like, I just won't. So then I'm like, and that's okay, because we all function differently. Like, I don't love working out at home, but I would never miss it if I was at home. I would just make it happen. Yeah. But for the people that need that motivation, need that push, then you have to put into place, like, don't take somebody else's opinion for things that you need for your life. And I don't know what the quote I posted the other day was about, like, stop listening to other people's opinions if you want to create the life you want, because nobody is in your mind space of knowing exactly what you need and what you want and what's going to drive you to get there. So buy the pre-cut veggies, buy the frozen veggies. If you need to, buy the roasted chicken because you know you're not going to cook the chicken breasts. It's at least better than not doing it at all. So so I think, like, my 3 things would be, like, surround yourself with people, find your support somewhere, find that one friend that will support you. Totally. And there's always that one person. I was talking to somebody the other day too, and they were like, well, you'll just call that person because they'll because you can always find a person to support what you want to think. Like, do you know what I mean? Yes.
100%. Yeah.
When you're having a bad day and you want somebody to really sympathize with you, I know who I'm going to call. Right? Because I'm like, that person will sympathize with me. They'll totally be like, oh, yeah, that's such a shitty day. You know, like, they'll totally milk all of my, like, sadness or whatever, and they'll agree with you, and, you know, because then you don't want to call those friends that always, like, play the devil's advocate, because they're like, you're like, no, I just needed you to let me feel sorry for myself right now, right? Yeah. So it's like, find that friend that you know that's going to say, no, get to the gym. Keep you accountable, and then, try to not let other people's opinions of what you want to do affect where you're going to go, because I watch so many women their lives being affected, especially because I've recently, like, divorced. I feel like I've met so many women going through the same journey, and some of them still can't get their feet on the ground because they're like, it's just still, I just still feel guilty, or I still whatever, and I just can't get my feet on the ground, and I'm so, like, tough love, and I'm like, just do it, like, and just do it consistently, and then see how you feel, because when you start feeling better about yourself, when you start taking care of yourself, your confidence, your energy changes, and then
it's a trickle effect. It's a ripple effect.
Trickle, ripple, all of them. I love it. But I think the hardest part about starting a fitness journey
is just getting started.
And
finding somebody that's going to encourage you along the way through those ups and through, because you're going to have downs.
Oh my gosh, we all do. So like, many downs,
right? Like, whether it's just a bad day, or whether everything's just gone sideways, or kids are sick, or what have you, right? But just knowing that sometimes during a day like that, it's just a matter of going out and getting some fresh air and a walk for 15 or 20 minutes, and that's it. You call it a day. You still moved your body. You still did something positive for yourself, regardless of the fact if you got to the gym or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And knowing that it's not that all or nothing.
And you have to have accountability. That's why people hire coaches, right? People laugh at me when they say, like, not laugh at me, but I'm a house cleaner, and then they're like, I can't believe you hire a house cleaner. And I'm like, yeah, because I really appreciate, like, what I do is important to people. And us as coaches, when, like, you're training for a competition, like, you're starting prep soon, you'll hire somebody because we know how valuable the work that we do is. And even as coaches, we need accountability, like, so crazy intense. And we're pretty motivated and consistent, but for people that are just starting this out, like, you need somebody to be on your butt all the time and say, like, because it's hard, or else you'll get out of those habits. And I hope when you're prepping for your show and you're like, oh my God, you can text me and be like, Meg, I don't feel like going to the gym today. I'm like, Cheryl, get to the gym. Think about your competition.
It won't be the gym. It'll be like, I don't want to eat this anymore.
I want to eat pecans.
I want to eat something else.
I don't like this. Tell me. And then you have that person that's like actually supports your goals and is like, no, dude, you need to keep going right now. Like, just do it. I always used to think about, what's my competition doing right now? What are they doing at the gym? How many reps are they doing? I'm gonna be like, gotta just keep going, keep going. Yeah. So and your only competition really is yourself, right? So
100%.
Like, just don't let other people's opinions affect your life.
Yes, and as you said, right? This is your journey, your competition against, like, you versus you, and something to. And I see it with, like, the groups that come in through, like, the classes at my studio, and you can see some of the comparison. You can see the comparison game happen every once in a while, and it's 100%. Totally natural to do, but not to let that
deter your results too.
Exactly, right? Oh, I'll never be able to lift that, or I'll never look like that, or I'll never insert whatever. And so then just quit because you don't think. And I'm like, well, she's been at this, or he's been at this for like 5 years. This is your day one. We're on two different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Oh, and another one I do, and I think you do too, is listen to podcasts
all the time.
Like, when I'm like, oh my God, Meg, I'm feeling like my self-worth is really low today, or I'm feeling like really like my self-love is out the window. I just really literally put into YouTube how to increase my self-love, and then I just pick a YouTube video and I just podcast it. Whatever I'm feeling that day, whatever it is, like, how do I get out of this rut? How do I get motivated for the gym? How do I change my life and make it how I want it? Like, whatever I'm suffering with that day, I'm like 10 minutes. I just put on some kind of a podcast to get me out of that mindset, right? And like we talked about before, just reset like every 10 minutes if you have to, right?
Yep. 100%. Awesome.
Yeah, I think
that was a lot of information.
That was so much
job
information.
well done.
But I think just the biggest takeaway is just make sure that when you think of something that's good for you and that it's going to make you happy, you have to do it despite what everybody else thinks. Because if you truly know deep down inside that if you get fit and you get healthy and you take care of yourself, that you're going to be happier and feel better and have energy, then you just have to like focus and stay on that path and not let other people tell you that's not okay.
Yeah, because I think then living with that idea of regret, I wish I had, I wish I had done this, I wish I hadn't stopped doing that.
And I think when it's a woman and her husband, she's like, yeah, I'm just going to go start going to the gym. He's like, oh my God, why? Like, why should I sudden going to the gym? But if you actually sit down with somebody, like, and this is where it's funny because the book I'm reading, Braving the Wilderness right now, is you can't hate somebody if you move in with them. So, like, if you sit down with your husband and you say, or your mom or your best friend and say, you know what? I've been feeling really bad about myself for the last 5 years. I think I put myself on hold. I feel like I have nothing to focus on in my life anymore, and I really need to go to the gym because I think it's going to help me, and I think it's going to better me, and I'm going to feel a lot better. And if you have that conversation with them and then still they come up with those opinions, and I'm like, okay, I can't even. But if you actually sit down, and most people will be like, oh, okay, like I'm listening to you, I hear you, I understand that that's what you want and why you want it. But I think for those people in our life, we need to also give them that like grace to say, okay, I understand that this is triggering you, I understand that this is bothering you because I'm going to the gym, but I'm going to lay it out emotionally on the table to you why I need to do this, why I need to take care of myself. And I think most people would be like, oh, okay, babe, you should just go do it. Or okay, your best friend will be like, okay, I'm going to hate that you're not coming to the bar with me every weekend or eating pizza with me, but now I understand why, because I love you and I want the best for you. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that's a perfect way to end.
I think it's awesome.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening today, and we truly appreciate you. And let us know what your biggest takeaway was today, and if you have any questions you want answered on the podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast to automatically receive your episodes and to help us reach more listeners. We would love to connect with you on our socials, either Facebook or Instagram, with links in the show notes. Till next time, keep taking those small steps towards your best life.